All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the sincere brethren out there that's laboring in his work and continue to push out this gospel in all diligence, true faith, and sincerity. So yes, the brother Aram coming back with another quick lesson. And this sitting is pretty much going to be centered around a transfer of kingdoms, all right, and the fact that we're in a time where the power is being shifted, that momentum of power is being shifted and translated from one nation to another. And this whole dynamic is going to play out around two players, all right? Everything is rotating around two major parties, which is the elect of the nation of Israel versus the elite or the chief house of the nation of Edom, which come in the form of these so-called banking families, the Rothschilds, the Gettys, DuPonts, Fitzgeralds, Morgans, Oppenheimers. And when the smoke clear and the dust settle, all right, when you cut through the red tape, these elites, those who rule the world, that shadow government who seize control of the planet, those who are sitting in the power seat, their main focus in their eyes is on the elect of the nation of Israel, man. They're not concerned with these different nations who are jockeying for position to be the next rulers of the planet, all right? The so-called Arabs or the so-called Chinese. They're not concerned with them, man. They concerned with the elect of the nation of Israel. Why? Because they understand the prophecies, man. When you go back into ancient kingdoms, for an example, when really starting with Philip the Macedonian, which was Alexander the Greek's father, when those skirmishes broke out with them, when they came up against the Medo-Persian Empire, if you had to put your money on anybody, you would have put your money on the Medo-Persian Empire. Why? Because they had a much more vast military, all right? But the Spirit of the Lord was with the Greeks, overtaking them, man, and conquering them. Why? To fulfill prophecy. And the elites, they understand this, but they're going to go out scratching cloth, tooth, and nail, man. And in war, you have what they call collateral damage, meaning you might have women or kids to die, but the main objective is to take out those who are in power, all right? And that's going to happen in this war. That's what's happening. You know, we all know about Jacob's trouble, but these elites, all right, they're going to take out a lot of Israelites because of that old natural hate, that hatred that stems back to the struggle in the womb between Jacob and Esau. But in reality, their main objective, they put all their time, money, and resources. They send out these CIA operatives and agents. All this is geared to coming after the elect, man. That's the central, central battle, you know? Everything rotates around the elite and the elect. So with that, I want to just go ahead and get into the scriptures. Just the book of Psalms, chapter 37 and verse 12. It says, the wicked plotteth against the just and gnashed upon him with his teeth. Right. And that's what you're seeing taking place. This thing is like chess, man. When you play chess, if you know anything about chess, it's more of an eye candy game, man. It's more of watching, you know, in opposed of reacting and moving. You watching and you plotting. And that's what you see taking place when you see such phrases thrown around like domestic terrorism, homegrown terrorists. Well, those are chess moves that the elite is playing. All this is to that build up to make a move on the elect. Now, when you jump down to the 32nd verse, it says, the wicked watcheth the righteous. Again, you can apply that to chess, man. When you playing chess with someone, you watching. Why? Because this is not checkers, man. Checkers is played out on the street corner, man. All right? Against the Crips and the Bloods. All right? Some simple niggas in a drug war over turf. That's checkers. What we're involved in is chess, man. That's why a lot of men who come into this thing, they don't realize how intense this battle is, man. You got to be on point. Overall, you got to be a part of the elect and you got to pray because, look, only the elect will be delivered out of this, man. These devils is very precise in how they move. They set in the stage to come up against us. All right? For 1 second, don't ever believe that this thing is bigger than the elect and the elite, man. Everybody else is just going to be collateral damage. All right? Everybody else is set up for judgment. All right? scriptures tells you that everybody was created in vain. The multitude, all right? Pretty much, roughly paraphrased. Everybody else is set up just as extras in this movie, so to speak. But the two main players, the two main characters is the elect and the elite. And this thing is intense. It's a battle right now. All right? It says the wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him, right? So they coming up with different, they have these different means to Bilderberg meetings. They come up with different things to write into legislation. Why? So they could slay us, man. This is a very strategic game. And the reason why this is so spiritual, because usually the so-called white man, when it comes to war, that's their second nature. When you read Genesis, the 27th chapter, they blessing was the sword. So if we had a standing army, then the so-called white man, all right, the wicked Edomites, it would be in their backyard. That would be right in their wheelhouse, man. It would be second nature for them to react, But by this thing being spiritual, all right, Esau got to play it like chess. And one thing about chess, usually when you start off, you could be more reserved. All right? You could be more reserved. You could set traps. But once it get intense, or either you get cornered off, then what? You got to be more aggressive. All right? This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, and starting at verse 12. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, right? And that's like chess again, all right? This is a very intense battle was playing out. And you got to be on a certain level to see this, man. There's a lot of men that just waiting to go out Saturday and stand around and decorate the block. They don't understand how serious this battle is, man. These devils is laying in wait, all right? Now, I'm going to give you a quick example of how this thing is like chess. These devils, when you go into a lot of reliable resources, these devils really wanted to make that chip mandatory around 2017, this year, man. But why didn't they? Because the spirit got on Apostle Tahar and all the men of Great Millstone followed suit to expose that chip being the mark of the beast. That was a chess move. When you playing chess and somebody corner you off, then you got to sit back and watch the board and see what's your next move gonna be, man. That actually happened, man, if you spiritual, all right? And like I said, when you play chess, usually you start off a little more reserved. You lie in wait and look to trap somebody. But once your opponent corner you off, then what happens? You get aggressive, all right? And matter of fact, I'm gonna go back to this, but let me get a scripture to support that. This is an intense battle, bro. This is Revelation 12 and 12. We all know this scripture. Therefore, rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Right. So that reserved spirit on these devils, the elites, that laid back spirit is going to turn to desperation, man. All right. Why? Because we cornering them off. It tells you that in 2 Thessalonians. He's going to be consumed by the words of the Most High mouth, which comes in the form of the elect. All right? Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 12 again. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. And how did he come to that conclusion, that we are not for his turn? Do we see David Rockefeller at the camp? All right? Do we see one of the Oppenheimers rolling up on the camp? So how do they know we are not for his turn? Because they watching us on the internet. Because they watching us on the internet, man. Just like chess, they watching our moves. That's how they come to the conclusion we are not for his turn. And he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraided us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy, the transgressions of our education. Right. So the reason why they come to this conclusion, because they thoroughly watch all the brothers' videos. Okay? Verse 13, he professeth to have the knowledge of the Most High, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. And what do we call ourselves? The Israelites. All right, you got these so-called Christians and different groups that come up against us, and they label us as what? The Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites. And that's what the elite is saying here in this chapter. All right, this right here is the elites venting, Verse 14, he was made to reprove our thoughts He is grievous unto us, even to behold. Right? This is the elite saying that we are grievous for them to even look at us. And how do they behold us? Again, by watching us. Okay? By way of YouTube. And again, this is similar to chess. When you playing chess, you watching more than you moving, man. For his life is not like other men's, his ways are in another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits, he abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that the Most High is his Father. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the son of the Most High, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. So this is what the so-called white man is saying in these meetings, man. That's what these sick, demonic, all right, devils are saying, man. These diabolical elites, man. They sitting around and they coming up with ways. They got torturing devices, all right? They got these high fish and guillotines. They're coming up with ways to prove us and to see. And this is going to happen soon. Why? Because now they about to get aggressive. Again, it's just like chess. When you first start playing chess, you were more laid back, all right? Until your opponent start to move and corner you off. Then you got to get aggressive by default. When you playing chess and you put in certain situations, you got to make a move, man. And now what these devils going to do? Verse 19, let us examine him with despitefulness and torture. So this is the conclusion they're going to come to. This is that, this is the next instinct that's going to pop up for these devils, man. Okay? It's going to turn from being more laid back and reserved and lying in wait and setting traps to more of an aggressive sense of desperation. And a lot of guys that's in this thing, they not ready for that, man. They don't understand how this thing gonna play out. They just think it's about, going out there and saluting brothers and saying shalom and calling the white man the devil. Hey, that's a part of it, but you got to know the core of this thing, man. This is the Jacob and Esau battle revised. Okay? And the reason, when you look at it spiritual, the reason why it happened, in the womb, because somebody gonna be delivered. Both parties gonna be delivered. One party gonna be delivered to salvation, and another party gonna be delivered into captivity. All right? Salakia, let me go back to where I was at. Okay, verse 19. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. Such things did they imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness have blinded them. Right? So these devils is not going to get over on us, man. They're not going to get us, man. The Lord is going to make a way for us to escape. All right? We're going to win this battle, and that's a part of the comfort. Okay? And what's going to be the final results? Again, remember, this thing is between the elect and the elite. And this scripture right here pretty much bring it home. Okay? Let me get it real quick. It's the book of Psalms 149, starting at 8. To bind their kings with chains. Yeah, and who is the kings? It's the kings, just some average so-called white boy. All right? It's the kings of vocab, James White, the Edomite. No, the kings is these bankers, man. So you see that the climax of this thing is still going to be the elite versus the elect. It says to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all the saints, praise ye the Lord. Yeah, and the saints is the elect, okay? Although all Israel is saints, but in this case, this is the elect, because only the elect is going to have the honor of taking the same damn devils that took us into captivity and taking them into captivity. So again, this thing is centered around the elect and the elite. This is the big face-off, and I'm going to say it like this, man. That face-off is taking place right now. If you're not spiritual and you don't see it, then you better pray to the Most High. because this thing is more intense than you think, man. So with that, I hope there was edifying lesson until the next time I say shalom.